The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw Dating, preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now your host, Nicole Hutchison.
Nation, welcome to another episode of Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys in the SWBC studio. I'm with Christy Scales, Bonnie Jill Laughlin. Ladies, what's popping on this lovely Tuesday?
Oh, I'm excited to be here.
Sorry, forget the days of the week already.
Yeah, I think the 24-hour rule that supposedly exists in the NFL that you can't celebrate a win or lament a loss more than 24 hours. Yeah. I think it should extend to 48 hours after,
because I don't work till Tuesday, so I need a little room.
Yeah, yeah. Going on the road, and I think a lot of people were picking Cleveland to win that game and get the road win in a place where the Browns were undefeated last year. I mean, everyone should feel good going into this week.
Hey, I don't know. This was an impressive win. Cowboys 33-17 the final, like Christy was saying, on the road as underdogs, 2.5-point favorites. I've got to ask
rookies who did big impacts on the game. I mean, come on.
Let's talk about it.
Right.
Is this win good enough to buy into this team moving forward?
Absolutely.
I think so.
Absolutely. Now, are there things that need to be improved upon? Sure. We talked about it some yesterday. I'd like to see more from the run game. Offense didn't do anything in the second half, but the defense looked great. And it's going to be a tougher test, I think, on Sunday because New Orleans Saints, again, they were going against the Carolina Panthers, but put 47 points on the board. Mm-hmm. So, I think that there's reason to be very optimistic, but there is so much that happened in that game that wasn't great that the coaches can use as coaching points to build upon.
Absolutely. I mean, the penalties, having 11 penalties, I think is a big thing,
Absolutely.
was it 85 yards, Christy?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that was something. But other than that, I mean, I hate to be a total, gamer homer, but I thought they looked great on all three cylinders. They were really impressive being on the road with rookies. I don't think Deshaun Watson thought he was going to see Micah Parsons in his nightmares and not be able to sleep that night, right? I know he had all these off the field things that went on, and maybe we saw lackluster from him, and that's where they really tested. People are going to say with the Cowboys, but I mean, you got to take this in stride and say, yeah, this is good. This is a great way to see the upside and to see what the Cowboys can do.
Mm-hmm. You talk about the rookies. Which rookie for you impressed you the most?
Oh my gosh, Overshown. BB, he didn't make any mistakes that I saw. Guyton, all of them. I mean, how about even, you think Kalen? I mean, I know Carson, he wasn't really tested again, but he looked like a veteran out there. He looked confident. All of the rookies, y'all, really impressed me, I got to say. And again, I know it's one game.
Yeah.
But I was impressed.
Yeah, when they don't get their names mentioned in the Cowboys radio broadcast, along the offensive line or cornerback, sure.
I say Overshown as a rookie just because he didn't have. I hope you know what I know by that.
But if you're an Overshown, if you're a Nealand, right, you want your name mentioned because it means you're making a play on defense. But I think they more than acquitted themselves.
Dang, I wanted to see if y'all had to pick one though. I wanted to.
Just one? That's tough.
I mean, I know all of them performed well, but if you had to pick one right now, it's on the line.
Well, I think the flashiest is Overshown just because, it was so obvious and the closing speed and everything. But Guyton and BB, the fact that, again, they needed to do a lot better in the run game, particularly in the second half. But the fact that Myles Garrett wasn't the star of the game he usually is whenever Cleveland plays, I think that means that Guyton played very well.
Yeah, and if you look at Overshown's line, a team high 11 tackles, 5 solo tackles, and 2 quarterback hits and a sack. I mean, he put so much pressure. I mean, he was phenomenal.
For sure. And we're taking calls, Cowboys Nation. 1-888-855-2297. Give us a call right here on Girls Talk, Boys Talk. 1-888-855-2297. Ladies, before we get some calls, because I know they want to call and talk to us, of course.
Of course they do.
Of course they do.
Because we're so excited. They're going to want to bring us down to reality.
Right? I know. Don't do that now. Don't do that. But no, the Cowboys, we know that even dating back to last year, even before, when the Cowboys get off to a fast start, they're a hard team to beat. And obviously that's the recipe. Hopefully looking forward to the rest of the season. But do y'all think that this could be a team that potentially could be a come-from-behind team if they don't get off to that fast start?
Sure, because they've got the weapons. Yeah,
Okay.
sure,
Yeah, I think so, too.
Absolutely. You know, luckily didn't have to see that in the first week, but definitely, yeah. And the other thing is with the defense, the way that they're able, you know, they had a couple of interceptions, the takeaways, and things like that, and the special teams playing so well, the way that they won in all three phases of the game. That's what's so important, because you need, if you're having to come from behind, you need your special teams to put you in good field position. You need maybe a catalytic play from your defense. If it's not a takeaway, maybe like a tackle for loss or a sack, where it'll affect.
Maybe a kicker that can kick 71 yards,
Maybe a kicker that can kick 71 yards. Hey, if the game were not in Cleveland with that crosswind that was also a little bit in Brandon Aubrey's face, if that were a home game or that were indoors, I know that McCarthy would have let Brandon Aubrey try that from 70 plus. Yeah.
It's just hard though, Nicole, because that question, because they did so well and they were such in command of that game. It's hard for me to say come from behind, because we didn't really get to, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
We weren't tested at all, like I said before. So I think time will tell, right, Christy?
Absolutely.
I got a game for you guys. It's kind of like similar to our last game, over under, except it's did they exceed expectations or did they underperform? So you're taking the over. Did they overperform or meet the expectations / that?
Oh, so if
Or
they,
did
okay.
If they like overperformed or met the expectations, then you'd pick the over.
Okay.
If they didn't exceed your expectations or didn't even meet the expectations, you're going with the under.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Got it.
I like this game.
Don't have a name for it, but it's just over under. That's all I
Okay.
got.
Like it.
All right, bet. Demarion Overshown.
Oh, we already talked about that.
ahead.
Over. I mean, I thought he was incredible, especially coming back from that ACL. I mean, Chrissy, you know, some guys when they come back from that, they don't get back in there like that. I mean, the way he was doing everything right. I mean, I'm not a coach by any means, but I didn't see anything where he was any missteps. So I would say over. Am I playing the game right? That I like that he. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's definitely over. It's in his
Yeah.
name, for goodness sake. It's like putting the fun in
Right,
Funyuns.
I
It's
didn't think
part
about
of
that.
it's part of the name there.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, just so great. And I know it's his second year, but the fact that he was injured in preseason last year, that was his NFL debut.
Yeah,
So great
exactly.
for him. Yeah.
All right. Now we've got up next.
You have him as over, I assume?
Over,
Nicole,
of
you have to be
course.
part of this
I'm
game,
sorry, my
too.
bad. Over, of course. I mean, if you just look at that one play, him the sack on Deshaun Watson, and I think that was Jess who had the stat yesterday where he closed. This closing speed was 2.5 seconds, and he covered 14 yards on just that one play alone. I mean, you'd say that he met the expectations. So no, certainly taking the over for Demarion Overshown. Over. Ezekiel Elliott up next.
I'm going to say over, because I don't think people expected to see him with that spry. I think he had a lot of naysayers, you know, what do they say, eating crow, I think they call that. And I think, again, it's one game, but I was impressed of how he looked, a little bit of burst. And I think he got that confidence because he's kind of been hearing a lot that he's too old and not as mobile and physical and all of that. But again, I'm going to go over.
Yeah, I'll go over. Yeah.
I'd say-
Certainly met expectations.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'd say
right.
same. I think people were doubting if his speed was even still there too. His vision, I thought that it looked pretty good. Not, of course, 2016, 2017, 2018 Zeke, but
But it reminded me a little bit. You got a little burst of it.
Little
you know?
burst.
That little
Yeah,
hurdle,
sure.
you know,
Yeah,
kind of brought
right.
back some memories. Hey, it's a high enough leap to get into the Salvation Army Red Kettle on Thanksgiving Day. So
we
he
love
can make
yeah.
it in there.
We love it. Tyler Guyton.
over.
I over too.
Over.
Yeah, I've got to say over.
All right, Cooper Beebe.
Over.
Over too, because
I'm
we didn't.
I know. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Donovan Wilson.
He had that one hit sick tackles. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say over too, because I
Yeah.
don't think we expected a ton from him, right? Or Nicole's.
Yeah.
I expect a ton from him. I think he's going to be one of our catalytic players this year on defense who's really going to benefit in Zimmer's system. And when I say catalytic plays, that's a phrase that Bill Parcells used to use, and that can be a tackle for loss. It could be a takeaway for Dono, forcing a fumble, things like that, or just delivering a slobber-knocking hit where, you know, it reminds the tight ends or a receiver that they're coming over the middle. You know, not a dirty one, but anyway. So, but yeah, I'm expecting great things for Dono. I don't know how really any of the players on the Cowboys are going to be under.
Yeah.
this week, but let's see.
But
Keep
I still
going
like,
with
but I
your
still like
list.
the game because we can kind of talk about each of the players a little bit.
That's
what we like the best.
Yes.
Sorry, guys.
No, keep going.
Cowboys secondary as a whole. Over?
I'm going to say
under?
over as well because I thought that Carson did pretty well out there, and they basically stopped any Amari and any kind of situation that I thought was going to be a little bit dicey. And then Diggs got his first interception. So I'm going to say over.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Amari Cooper, such a great route runner, and
he was so
what
frustrated.
What a great test for your guys. Trayvon coming back from injury, for Kalen Carson playing his first regular season game. That's a great test. Now, they did lose Jerry Jeudy to injury in the fourth quarter. They didn't have him when they were trying to rally. And then they lost Njoku. I think that was third quarter when they lost their tight end. He's a Pro Bowl guy. So they were without a couple of really key weapons there when they were trying to rally. But overall,
that's why I keep saying we're not totally tested in certain parts, but still you had to say. And for Carson being a rookie, talk about confidence. I think that really helps confidence, and that's mental so important in this game. So for the second game, I think he'll come in with even more.
I like that. Deuce Vaughn. Over, under?
Over. Really over for me.
Special teams.
Yes, I was going to say the special teams.
Yeah, I mean, a key block on the on Turpin 60-yard punt return.
That was so
fun. Just it's funny because when you're on the sideline and you at a certain angle, there's one point because he's on punt coverage as well. And you're just before every play, I'm still counting. I'm like, okay, do we have 11 guys out there? And there was one time where I was kind of panicked. I'm like, oh, we only have 10 because I couldn't see Deuce from the other side of the guy, the angle, the person standing on this side was covering up him on the other side. But I'm just really happy for him because we all love Deuce. He's such a great guy, and the fans, especially the K-State fans who were expecting so much of Deuce, were hopeful for him. Didn't really get to see much in his rookie season, but we're going to see a lot more. But, I'm happy for him.
For the run games, I would like to see more. But second half, I think it would have been really nice because I don't think the Browns could have came back and maybe McCarthy could have put him in a little bit and we could have worked a little bit on the run game to kind of maybe figure some things out.
They would have, but the fact that they didn't have the third down conversions, that's my problem with the game on Sunday. Sorry to nitpick, but the offense did not play well in the second half. They weren't sustaining drive. They weren't converting on third down. So we would have seen Deuce with maybe 7, 8, 9
what I was
carries.
Hoping, instead of only one touch,
Yeah, when you have a lead like that, you need to just bury that team.
Yeah.
And just hold on to the ball and start bleeding the clock.
That's exactly what I was saying. It's like working the clock, and then you look at that time possession. We could have worked the clock a little more with that run game.
Absolutely. So Deuce would have had more if they just would have been better.
I would have liked to see that.
Yeah. Do y'all think, and Chrissy, I'll start with you because you were there. Do you think that was more so of a McCarthy play calling, just trying to?
No, that's just that's not execution. Yeah,
that's what I think.
Execution. It's falling behind. In baseball, for a pitcher, they say the most important pitch is strike one, getting up ahead on the hitter, right?
Yeah.
Get ahead in the count if you're the pitcher. Well, in football, when you're trying to maintain drives, start of a first down is an important play, and getting 4, 5, 6 yards and getting ahead of the chains instead of falling behind. And they weren't ahead of the chains in the second half, and so that led to the lack of third down conversions.
Right. Now we've got Mike McCarthy's play calling. Over, under?
That's a good one for this game.
That's good. Wow, I'd say
Can we do the middle?
Met expectations.
Still over.
He's still over. Right. I just
don't know.
The second half. I just wish it was a little different play calling in there with the run game.
Well, again, falling behind. Yeah, I'd say barely met.
Okay.
Barely met.
Because after Turpin that TD, I feel like he knew that the only way the Browns are going to come back is if we turn over the ball. So I feel like that's exactly what you're saying. So let's just run the ball, and protect the ball. So that was the only thing. So where I'm kind of feel like I'm
kind of teetering on.
Yeah, indecisive on that.
And and when penalties, so you can't even when you have a big lead like that, you just can't have self-inflicted kind of things. So that's always hard to overcome.
Jalen Tolbert.
would like to see
didn't
more
really
of him.
get that much. He played a more on teams than I anticipated. Let me
Yes.
tell you, looking at
what was his line?
Looking at Tolbert, so he had 42 plays on offense. He had 7 plays on special teams, but I wouldn't say they just didn't have to do much in the passing game.
Yeah.
Or
when
and
you
didn't in the second half. So
yeah. I could agree with that.
I don't know. I don't know if you can go negative when he didn't really have that many
That's what I was going
opportunities.
to say. Well, one catch for 12 yards.
I think that.
And I think he had that holding call too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think moving forward, there'll be a lot more opportunities for him.
'Cause I'd like to see him more in that
Yes.
offensive scheme for sure.
Yes.
Damone Clark.
Yeah, that's another.
Matt, I don't know that he was below. No, let's see. So the linebacker workload, Kendricks was number 1. He had 51. He had
was on
51 defensive plays. Overshone was actually next. Damone was only on the field for 26, and Leah Fowl for just 9. So they were playing nickel a lot, and so that's why you had Kendricks and Overshone together, and you saw less of Damone Clark and a lot less of Leah Fowl. Also towards the end, Kendricks missed a series because he had gone into the locker room for dehydration to get an IV, and so Nick Vigil came in, and so he took over the middle linebacker duties and also the green dot duties. So they didn't need Damone was the third linebacker designated to take the radio calls, to wear the green dot helmet if necessary. But once Vigil was in there, he took those duties. So I think that because Cleveland was behind and having to throw the ball and not relying on the run, the Cowboys weren't in their base 4-3 package as much, and so Damone didn't get as many reps.
Yeah, I guess I'll say over too, right? Because the linebacker core as a whole is just so phenomenal. It's hard to say that no one did anything wrong, right?
True.
Mike Zimmer's defense.
Can we go over?
This one was easy. Sorry. Question. When you think about this Mike Zimmer defense and what you've seen so far, just one game, of course, how much success do you feel like they can have as far as team defense as a whole?
Well, if they're able to apply the pressure as they did on, but see, kind of deceiving when you have 2 backup offensive tackles.
That's
going to be different. Here's the thing with the Saints coming into town. I mentioned they put 47 points up. Again, it was against a really overmatched Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
But they do have 2 first-round picks at offensive tackle. They have their rookie this year, Fuaga, and he was a number 14 overall pick out of Oregon State. They're really high on him. And then Trevor Penning, who 2 years earlier was a first-round pick, he's moved to right tackle. So I think that it's going to be a better test for the pass rush against New Orleans.
All right, well, we're going to actually be breaking that down up next in our second segment about how much success did the pass rushers on the Cowboys really have. That's up next. You're watching Girls Talk Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll be right back.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that 6th ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. Because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
The Dickey family always mandated that the only Polish-style sausage worthy of their restaurant must have high-quality coarse ground beef and pork, rich spices, and fresh natural casings. We still serve it to this day, and it's so popular, Dickey's sausage has been named the official sausage of the Dallas Cowboys. The perfect matchup on game day. Dickey's Barbecue Pit. No one outsmokes us. Order at dickeys.com. For groups, call 866-BARBECUE. Dibs on the ribs.
Rally Days presented by SeatGeek give NFL fans an experience of a lifetime the day prior to Dallas Cowboys home games on September 14th. Enjoy activities at the Miller Lighthouse. Get a behind-the-scenes tour of AT&T Stadium and more. So visit attstadium.com/Rally Days for more information and get your tickets today.
Speaking of AT&T Stadium, the Cowboys are back at AT&T
here,
Stadium
home.
this Sunday, noon kickoff between the Saints.
Chris, I got to ask you, because we were talking offline, being there at the dog pound, they got a little light, got a little quiet too, right?
They were gone by, more stayed in the dog pound than the rest of the stadium, because those are the diehards, but even they had left by the middle of the fourth quarter, or I'd say like 11, 12 minutes, fourth quarter, and the Browns fans were streaming for the exits, and it really looked more like a preseason game. Looking up around the stadium, the heaviest part of the crowd towards the end of the game was behind the visiting bench with all the Cowboys fans. So, that's the greatest thing is when you silence a crowd. When you're the visiting team, you're playing in a hostile environment on the road. You want to quiet that crowd at the beginning of the game, and then at the end, just want to have your Cowboys fans over the tunnel as you head up to celebrate in the locker room.
Remember last week, Nicole, Chrissy was breaking down the silent count, like how that was going to be such a factor.
And they did use it early in the game. The place was rocking at the start.
You could tell.
Oh, was it rocking? But the fans had already turned on Stefanski with the play calling and Watson and the Browns offense by early in the second quarter. They were booing them in the second quarter, and then they booed him off the field going into halftime.
It's funny that you talk about this because Brad Sham actually asked Eric Kendricks on Cowboys Hour yesterday, what was it like, getting all the fans out of there early and Browns fans just no longer supporting their team? He's like, what was that like? Eric was like, he smiled, he goes, that's what you want as a team.
Absolutely.
That's what you want. Like, you don't want the
Get
fans.
him out early.
Get him out
Take
early.
him out.
Yeah. Put him to misery. Like, that's what you want and thrive on as a player.
They were shocked.
This wasn't the case in Cleveland, but there have been games, particularly the Cowboys in Washington, and where it's going to be a Cowboys takeover. And I think it was out playing the Chargers in L.A., and there were so many Cowboy fans that the home team is using the silent count. Yeah. The home team was using the silent count because the Cowboys fans were so raucous.
Yeah, our fans travel well. Was there a lot? It looked like there was a lot of Cowboy fans.
There were a lot. There. Yeah, just the scheduling formula with the NFL, with the AFC. You only play in the away stadium. You play there only once every 8 years.
Right. So people want to get out there.
And so, for example, with the Saints, now the Saints travel really well. There are going to be a lot of Saints fans,
and they're close.
They are close. We also have so many people who relocated after Katrina to North Texas, and they stayed here.
You're right.
And so, there's going to be a lot of black and gold
I think so.
jerseys in a lot of Kamara jerseys and everything on Sunday, and they're going to be loud. So don't give them any reason.
And people love coming to AT&T Stadium because they've never seen Jerry's World. A lot of people
it's
like, let me go.
It's still
they
a
look at
destination.
the schedule like this is the place I want to go. Right?
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. Well, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Can't wait to watch this team on Sunday. But no, when you talk about the success that this defense had, more specifically the defensive line, 29 pressures, we'll say pass rushers, 29 pressures, 6 sacks, I believe. How much of the success of the Cowboys pass rushers really had true success compared, or was it just more so the fact that the Browns didn't really have their starting tackles?
Hard to say.
It's another hard one.
Yeah, that they did have 2 Pro Bowlers in their center and then their guard Batonio. So Posick and Batonio are excellent players. But when you've got 2 on the end,
they didn't have Wills Jr. or Conklin.
Yeah,
that was kind of very telling.
Yeah,
you could tell Watson was like. what am I going to do? They're going to be chasing me all over the field, and that's what happened.
But we still got a glimpse of some of the creative ways that Mike Zimmer's going to use Micah and the guys, and so I thought that's what was really exciting, and the fact that they were able to maintain it for the full 4 quarters, right? In fact, it's funny because even when you have a big lead in the fourth quarter, the guys, they want to be out there because that's like, let the dogs eat, right? You know, you want to pad your stats or whatever,
Right.
or you can pin your ears back when you have a big lead and you know that they're going to have to pass the ball and not take a lot of time running the ball. So that was the case really for most of the second half.
I was really happy with Eric Kendricks because I'll be honest, when we lost Leighton Vander Esch, I was like, how are we going to fill that? And having Kendricks come in and get him in this with this team and lined up, I don't know about you, Christy, but I really loved watching him.
Yeah, and just his familiarity with Mike Zimmer's system because he was the guy.
Yep.
He and Anthony Barr, what a great tandem of linebackers for so many years for Zimmer with the Vikings. But what were your impressions, Nicole, of getting to visit with him on an extended hour on the Cowboys Hour Monday night?
I mean, he loves this team, and he was actually we asked him about the fact that, like, how is this linebacker core? And he said that pretty much like he feels like it's one of the most unique in the of the NFL. Sorry, but I asked him about the speed of this linebacker core and how it separates from other linebacker corps, and he was like, it's probably one of the fastest as well. But it was pretty cool. I mean, I think that for Eric Kendricks, he brings, of course, we've talked about that, like, veteran presence and that experience, but he's also learning from the younger guys, and he said that as well, that, like, a guy like DeMarvion Overshone's taught him a lot. Even Maris, even though he's a rookie, he's learning from those guys as well as far as, like, learning the position, just, no matter that he's been in the league for 10 years, 11 years. So I thought that was actually kind of cool from Eric Kendricks.
Yeah, and being open-minded and
That part.
you're not heavy-handed and my way or the highway kind of guy.
Yeah,
For
so.
sure.
He's got good leadership.
Yeah.
From what you're saying, So.
And just he's with the green dot. He's the one taking the play call from Zimmer and having to relay it. And so
I think
the
what you said,
communication's important
the
when you have guys
communication,
playing
right.
together for the first time.
And what you both have said, the chemistry. You got the younger guys, you got the veterans, and I think that can be very powerful. And we saw that.
Yeah, and we saw, I don't know, he was not satisfied with the performance that they put on, even though we saw, a hell of a
Either was Micah. Did you hear him say that? He goes,
Yeah, they weren't
he wasn't
satisfied.
satisfied. He was like, I'm still hungry. That's not my best performance. And
Yeah.
I like that though. 'Cause that's like the Michael Jordan-esque type of mentality, Kobe
Yeah.
Bryant mentality of, that wasn't good enough. I got to get back in the lab and keep working. And I like that.
Well, you know who also wants to continue to get better? That's Micah Parsons, even though he's like a Swiss Army knife of this defense. And our very own Isaiah Stanback got a chance to talk to him on Good Morning Football.
How are you liking things? Obviously, DQ, usually at DN, and you obviously just disrespected everybody at the left tackle position whenever those guys lined up across from you. But how is things now with this Mike Zimmer defense? We saw you at DN, we saw you at linebacker, we saw you over the center, we saw you at the 3 technique. How are you liking being all over the place and being the Swiss Army knife now for this defense?
I really like it because, Mike just gave me the free will. One thing about it, he was like, and, it's also a discipline factor of he making other people learn different positions, too. And we practiced it in camp, which allows, me to do this. But, it starts with, the simple fact of me wanting to do it and Mike creating ideas for me to do it. And, he allows me just to range and go over the guards. Sometimes he don't even call it. Sometimes he just like, I trust you to do what you want. And he calls a friend. He's like, you said it, you make it, you get the guys lined up. So he's kind of giving me this free will to say, hey, if they're coming out in this formation, you do that, you can go into this. So, he's giving me a lot of free reign that I feel like I haven't had over the past couple of years. And the fact that we got kind of like this trust factor of him allowing me to go out there and, get the guys lined up and say that, you might go away from the chip or you know where they're going to slide it. So go away from the slide and protection so you get the one-on-one, or go away from the blitz and things like that. So, I really like it a lot.
I like that a lot, too, because that says a lot about the way that Micah has grown. And the fact that he's just so willing to constantly learn all these different positions. And even Eric said that as well. But what did y'all think about what Micah had to say?
I love it. Yeah, and the Browns had 76 plays on offense, and 69 of them, Micah was on the field. And I think the only thing more fearsome for an offense than having Micah Parsons coming off the edge is to have him coming in the A-gap up the middle, because quarterbacks will tell you that the one thing that you don't want is that pressure in your face.
Yeah.
Because when guys are coming from the outside, you can always like step up in the pocket if you need to. But when that pressure is coming up, that's the worst. Yeah. And so I think we'll see Zimmer doing some double A gap blitzing and stuff. I mean, I think he's going to have fun with it. And what's great was that he didn't have to show everything in the first game. I don't want Micah on the field for that high a percentage of plays for the entire season. Hopefully you have some leads and you can kind of rest him a little bit. 17 weeks is a long season, even for a lion like Micah Parsons. But, you got to love what you've seen so far.
Because you mentioned before, the defense was on the field a lot.
They were, especially that second half.
Second half is what kind of made me.
But, that's why it's so important for the offense to get those third downs and maintain those drives, take some of the pressure off.
But I like how he's not satisfied. I always like that because they played so well. For them not to be satisfied still tells a lot about this linebacker core and, what they want, that they're still not where they want to be.
For sure, a guy that's not satisfied as well is Marshawn Nealon, the rookie, who has been constantly working to be a pass rusher as well. And he had 6 pressures. Didn't have a sack, but it's okay. It's work in progress. Have they found their third pass rusher on this team in Marshawn Nealon? Do y'all believe?
I think so. He's so versatile. I think he made a big impact on this game as well. I saw a lot of upside to him.
Absolutely. And remember, I think they held him out of that final preseason game, right? Because they didn't. Right. They already knew what they had and stuff. So, just limited work in preseason, and to come out and, show what he did in his regular season debut. The sky's the limit for that kid.
A rookie as well. Our rookies did well.
No, for sure.
Really proud of them.
All right, we got to take our second break. You're watching Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. We will be right back.
The Dickey family always mandated that the only Polish-style sausage worthy of their restaurant must have high-quality coarse ground beef and pork, rich spices, and fresh natural casings. We still serve it to this day, and it's so popular, Dickey sausage has been named the official sausage of the Dallas Cowboys. The perfect matchup on game day. Dickey's Barbecue Pit. No one outsmokes us. Order at dickeys.com. For groups, call 866-BARBECUE.
Dibs on the ribs.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that 6th ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. Because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
All right, come shop at the Star in Frisco, right here where we're at, on Saturday, September 28th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. A Flea Styles Market at the Star, presented by Maker Plays by Michaels, featuring 50-plus local makers offering art, fashion, home decor, jewelry, and kids items. The market at the Star is always a favorite. Admission is free, and visit thestardistrict.com for more info.
Sorry, y'all. Almost had a little spill over here. Ladies, question that I have been dying to ask y'all. Do y'all feel the Cowboys have answered? I'll start with the run game questions. The ability to run the football. Do y'all feel like that has been answered with just week one?
No, not with the second half.
Yep.
Not being able to maintain it. And just looking at the possessions. So 3 plays and a punt, 3 plays and a punt, 6 plays settle for a field goal, 6 plays settle for a field goal, 3 plays punt, and then the final one was the end of the game, the kneel down. Yep. And that's not going to get it done.
No.
Moving forward in the season. Luckily, the Turpin punt return there in the third quarter, ended up being the nail in the coffin for the Browns, and able to maintain the lead after that. But that will not do it.
Yeah, and we saw a glimpse of it in the first half. In the second half, it's like they kind of abandoned the run. I want to see a little more commitment from the run game, and I think that especially when you have a lead like that. We all know that. That's kind of like football 101, right?
Exactly.
So I wish we would have seen a little bit more of that, because I feel like we're scared about the running back core. We've talked about that, but I feel like the guys, give them some more opportunities.
Are the guys in that room, do they give you enough belief that they can improve in that area?
Sure. Yes. Okay. Yes.
With just Zeke and Rico as...
I need to see more.
I'd say one.
In a regular season game.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So far, yeah.
Yeah, and again, moving forward, we'll see more creative ways of how they're going to integrate.
That's what I think so too.
Not only Deuce but Lipke.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
I would like to see more of him as well.
Like right,
especially in the second half. I'm like, come on, let's see all the guys that we haven't seen a lot, because it's our time to kind of work out some of the kinks a little bit. To a point. I don't want to turn over the ball, but we could have seen a little more.
I liked how they kind of used him in space a little bit, and in the passing game as well. I think that was kind of creative to see, because I don't think we saw that really in 2023 much.
No, kind of a little bit towards the end.
Yeah.
A little bit towards the end, and it's funny because they were using him, and we saw in training camp where they were doing more 21, meaning you have the tailback and then you have the fullback,
right.
and Lipke, and then Princeton Fant, who's now on the practice squad at tight end, as the lead blocker. When you have 2 backs. But I've also been told ad nauseum that they see him as a featured running back as well. The running back and not just a fullback. No, Lipke.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me, Lipke. No, not Princeton Fant. He'd probably love to be seen as a featured tailback.
Well, okay.
But,
Nicole, do you know something I know?
Saints match up? I was trying to focus and make sure I wasn't losing her. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, that's what my husband says all the time. I'm like, I knew exactly what I meant. But no, I think moving forward, we're going to see more dynamic ways that they'll be featured.
Do y'all think that the answers or the questions of this defense being able to stop the run has been answered?
Absolutely, 100%. So. Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
100%.
Well, I mean, in that game, yeah. I mean,
for that game, yeah. They fell behind
when
they fell behind like that and had to rely more on the run, and when they don't have Nick Chubb, and I know Ford did well last year.
They did have a lot of injuries
filling in for Chubb, and not having 2 of your starting tackles, offensive tackles,
that was huge,
that affected their run game as well, their run blocking as well as their pass blocking.
What's one thing you want to see improved moving forward?
The penalties. That bothered me, the 11 penalties.
For sure.
Cleaner game. Just a cleaner game.
Yeah, cleaner game because it's the pre-snap ones that McCarthy said yesterday. Those are the ones that you can control. Those are the ones that cannot be tolerated. You're going to have some aggressive penalties that happen during the course of a game, but yeah, definitely penalties, and then just being able to sustain drives and improve on that third down conversion, because as great as the Cowboys did defensively, limiting the third down conversions by the Browns offense, the Cowboys offense
because
was
you don't
not
see,
good.
We didn't notice as much because
down.
we were destroying them. But you listen to Tom Brady, he kept talking about the Browns can't get anything going because they keep getting a penalty. You can't go forward if you keep going backwards.
Exactly.
Right? So it will ruin a drive, and we didn't really see it. But looking forward to other opponents, that could scare me. 11 penalties.
Yeah, the Cowboys were only 4-14 on third down, 28.6%. That's horrible. Well, it's twice as good as the Browns, who sucked, 2 for 15. But 0 for 5 in the second half for the Cowboys. Sorry, that ain't gonna cut it.
Is that your same thing? Your thing that you want to see improved?
Absolutely.
All right.
How about you?
Mine. That's what I was just thinking. One thing I want to see improved, I'd say, I don't know, that one's hard. I was going to go defense, but I'm going to stick with offense. I want to see more of Cooks involved. And I know that it was kind of a different play calling game just because of the fact that CeeDee Lamb, they wanted to limit his touches, and it was kind of a matchup game, but I still want to see a little bit more of Brandon Cooks involved within this offense.
Yeah, more than fair.
More than
absolutely.
Fair. Yeah.
I like to see Tolbert too, as well. A little bit more of him.
Yeah,
I think we will if they can just get some first downs and have some more plays. They really didn't have that many offensive plays.
Right.
And if again, gosh, this is so nitpicky, but I think that the punt coverage could be better. I think that Darden had like 14 yards average on return.
That's actually good.
That needs to tighten up
a little
bit.
That
needs to tighten up.
And open field tackling. If I see any more missed tackles, like, for example, I think it was punt coverage as well, Jalen Brooks, or kickoff return, I'm sorry. And it was just multiple tackles that he missed, but he was right there. He got there and just couldn't make the tackle.
But I like how we can be nitpicky, because that means that they did so much good stuff out there.
Yeah.
Right.
One player you want to see more improvement from moving forward.
Oh, see,
that's tough.
We'll start with offense first.
I don't know if it's so much improvement, but more involved in just Rico. Just he didn't have as many touches. Let me review real quickly just the plays, because he was on the field for 28 plays but had only 8 carries. He did have the 1 catch, but I'm not saying that it needs improvement, but I think that we will see better numbers and more involvement. I think Zeke is still going to be the lead guy, still out there starting and stuff, but I think Rico will be a bigger component of the offense.
Mine, I'm going to go Turpin. I want to see his confidence grow. I feel like he kind of doubts his route running.
You're talking about in the offense.
In the offense. I'm sorry.
The offense.
Devontae Turpin in the offense.
because people are like, special teams.
Sorry.
Only one punt return touchdown. Yeah, only one a game.
In the offense.
Right, I agree with you there.
I want to see him more confident in his route running, because I feel like he can be a really good weapon for us. So I want to see a little bit more from him. What about you?
Yeah, I don't kind of reiterate, I guess, the running back, maybe some of the play calling, with the run game. I'd like to see more of that. I've already kind of said it. Tolbert, I'd like to see him be more involved, because I think he can make a big impact as well.
Now on defense. We said offense, so defense.
Wow. Golly.
Our defense was stellar, Nicole. That's tough.
That's a tough one. I look forward to seeing more of Leofau moving forward, because he only had 9 plays on defense.
I think you said
so
9.
Yeah, and then I also think that we'll see more of Joseph and Phillips too. So that was just so exciting to see the rotation with those two monsters going in there.
Did y'all see enough from Mozzie?
Well, he got he had 23 of the reps. I'd say he acquitted himself.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. That'll be something to ask
He
about.
still needs to develop a little bit more.
Yeah,
that's what I was.
Yeah, let us ask about that this week.
That was hard.
Yeah, see if we
this
can
game
get some
is
answers.
a lot. It's hard because the tests weren't. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
weren't truly tested on certain things, so it's hard to give a great analysis. Do you agree, Christy?
Yeah, and just the interior play of the line.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
There's so
unless
much-
you're
right.
Yeah.
I know we had a chance to look at the schedule, obviously, like when we first got back, but now, after they've played one game on the schedule, is there a team that you have concerns about Or is there a team that you're kind of worried about after you've seen them on film now?
Yeah, this weekend the Saints. Then next week the Ravens.
Right.
And then
and there's a couple trap games in there too, Christy. Like there's
well, it ain't Carolina.
I'm
I
not
can tell
worried
you
about
that.
the
That was.
I think it's Atlanta that I was worried
well,
about.
Kirk Cousins really struggled, but I can tell you, I was just.
Dak doesn't do well against Atlanta.
New Orleans looked like world beaters, but that's because Carolina looks so atrocious on offense. I feel like I should get workman's comp from having to watch that game this morning. I mean, it was bad. It was bad.
And of course,
for
the
Carolina's
Eagles.
offense.
I mean,
the Eagles certainly.
it's
But
obvious,
I think the Ravens are going to be a great test. But don't look past the Saints because they always play the Cowboys tough for some reason. That's always a harder game than you think. And Chris Olave and
you always wonder when you
Demario
play
Davis,
this well,
they've got
does it carry on to the next, or do you kind of, you know what I mean? Do you glide through thinking it's not? You just never know. I'm not saying that would be it, but you just don't know sometimes.
Yeah, Lattimore, Honey Badger there. That's a good
Honey
secondary.
Badger scares me.
Yeah, and we talk about the defensive line too. Cam Jordan.
Oh yeah,
And
Cam
Chase.
is a beast.
But he's 13 years, I think.
Yeah. All-pro.
Davis for sure, 13 years. So, this is
This is gonna be a better test, I think, for us. to
absolutely.
see.
Don't be looking ahead to Lamar Jackson in week 3. You know, let's take care of week 2.
Well, we'll be breaking down this matchup on Sunday.
One game at a time, right, Christy?
One game at a
Boy,
time.
don't you hate those coaching
I know
cliches?
they say that, but it's true, right?
Well, we'll be breaking that down all throughout the rest of the week. We'll be back here tomorrow at 4 p.m. on Girls Talk, Boys Talk. We'll see you all tomorrow, Cowboys Nation.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!